and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another Manchester United news show where we'll be discussing all the latest news coming out in a very dead international break. Let's be honest, the international break is always a boring period for football, especially in England, particularly boring. But with the Ratcliffe takeover going on, we do have a few interesting stories, and one today has come out by Nice Insiders about how Ratcliffe will influence Manchester United when it comes to transfers. Will he be able to bring more money in? Are we going to actually have a boost in transfers because the Glazers are still here? Is he going to be able to spend? Is Paul Mitchell or Blanc going to be able to have an impact on United more? Then we're going to talk about a story that's come out that actually proves Man United are insane. Manchester United have been proven to be insane. We're going to talk about the cycle of Manchester United, the latest on injuries, 9 players out with injuries. How does Ten Hag get around that? And then there's a few other stories about how Man United are helping out some of the youth. But let's get into the first story, which came through the OneFootball app, which was about former Nice manager who gave Man United positive news on Ratcliffe transfer funds. There's been a lot of questions about Ratcliffe coming in. Is he another Glazer? Is he going to take dividends out? Is he going to pay off the debt? What's going to happen in terms of the transfer budget? We know Paul Mitchell or Blanc are coming in, but what's going to happen? And former Nice boss Ursi has come out and sort of said some positive things. He was obviously assistant under Patrick Vieira, and he's spoken about how Ratcliffe conducts business at the French club and why it could be a big boost for United. He said the biggest problem was the club became certain there would no longer be problems with money. He said the biggest difference was once Ratcliffe owned Nice, it was certain there was no longer going to be problems with money because Nice had some problems with money before. He told the Daily Mail the first time he was there were huge financial problems, but once Ineos arrived, they went. He said, I saw Jim sometimes, but he only visited training sessions once or twice, not more. We felt the pressure about Jim in this period. I saw much more of his brother Bob. I only saw Jim there 3-4 times overall. It was clear that the big boss of the first team during the situation was our director of football, Julien Fournier. Now, I think this is really positive. We are going to talk about negative things that have been said as well, but he's essentially saying Ratcliffe came in. There was no longer the financial problems when Ratcliffe came in, which meant we couldn't spend in this window, we couldn't spend in that window. And an interesting thing he said is, Ratcliffe came in here and there, but the people he constantly saw was the footballing director. And that says to me that Ratcliffe is going to let the footballing people be potentially the people that operate United. Obviously, they never see the Glazers at Man United, and they always see a lot of Arnold and Murta. But Ratcliffe's going to bring Blanc and Mitchell, and it looks like they're going to have the closest say working with the staff at United, which is important. Now, I'm looking at how Ratcliffe owns Nice and how long-term he'll be owning United. We are going to talk about some negative things about him owning Nice. We are going to carry on with the positives for now because this is the story that's come out. And he said that many Man United fans will be hoping Ratcliffe will bring with him a boosted transfer budget, and Ursi reckons there's a possibility they could be in luck. He said, after I left, Ineos began spending more on transfers. He added they spent around 60 million, 52 million in the market before the club would not permit a transfer that cost more than 5 million euros, which is 4.3 million pounds, or 6 million euros, which is 5.2 million pounds. He said then he started to have power to spend up to 15 million pounds on players because of the Ineos money that was there. It was very important to save the situation. Relegation would have been a catastrophe. I can't say the word, but you know what I mean, for the club. And he basically spoke about Ratcliffe came in, he let the footballing directors take charge, and actually Nice spent a lot more money when Ratcliffe came in because he helped them out financially, because Ineos is a big company with lots of money. And I think this is a positive thing to take from a United fan of he's going to come to United. It's believed from people at Nice he's going to come in, he's going to pump some money into United. He'll actually have money to spend, and he'll actually leave sort of Paul Mitchell and Blanc to go and do the work with the money to spend. But the big question mark is, with the Glazers still here, will he actually be able to do that? And the second question is, Dante's come out and spoke about how Jim's been a bad owner of Nice. Nice fans have had frustration at Sir Jim. It's like, okay, this one guy at Nice is saying all these positive things about Sir Jim and how he believes that Sir Jim's going to give United a lot more money in the transfer window, which is a big positive, and how we know that he's obviously getting rid of Arnold and Murta, which is a big positive, but there has still been a lot of negative things said about Ratcliffe at Nice and how he's been a poor owner at Nice by Dante and Nice fans. So it's very hard to sort of really get behind every story we read at the moment. And I think we just have to wait and until we see with Ratcliffe. He's here. We'll judge him in a year. We'll judge him in 2 years. We'll properly judge him and where Man United are at in 3 years. But it's believed that he's going to come in and give us a bit of a transfer boost, transfer budget. And we do know that he, if ownership is sorted in time, can put an influx of cash into United, which could give us a big January transfer boost. Big question mark will be whether he does that. I don't think he'll take out dividends. I think Ratcliffe will be an improvement on the Glazers, but there's still a lot of question marks about Ratcliffe and what he brings. But I'm going to look at this as a positive. It's believed that Ratcliffe will come in. He will allow Man United to spend a bit more money, particularly in January transfer windows, or not have to sell to buy, which might further back Ten Hag, and then leave Paul Mitchell and Blanc to do the changes that need to be done. But now I want to talk about why Man United is insane. Albert Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And that has been Manchester United over the last few years. We've been doing the same mistakes over and over, and we expect the same results. Sack a manager, not back a manager. And I saw this video by Visa, and I highly recommend checking it out. And he did a whole 22-minute video on why Man United is the definition of insanity and how we make all these mistakes, and on the Glazers and on the ownership. And it was a really good video. And it kind of inspired me to sort of talk about this in the cycle of United as well. So before you watch Visa's video, finish watching mine. Man United make the same mistakes over and over again. I think we do that more than any other club. We hire a new manager. We make 3 to 4 signings that they want. We get Champions League footballs. We make no signings and release that we're searching for a director of football article, or just signings that the manager doesn't want, like 5th, 6th options. We get 6th because of a lack of reinforcements. We then sack the manager before performance. We hire a new manager. That seems to be the cycle at United. There's a lot of other cycles: sack the manager, appoint a new manager, and sign players that are overpriced and say we back the manager. Finish in the top 4, take money out of the club every year, let it rot with no infrastructure and $1 billion in debt. Then second season, let the manager down, don't get him his priorities, just get him B and C options as we have UCL football. Then we start underperforming again, fan base turns on the manager, sack the manager, and then the cycle I made a few months ago. Man United get a few bad results, so Man United ownership's board, become under more pressure. Man United use the media to direct negativity towards the manager and get fans to turn on the manager. Lies and leaks come out about the manager and signings to make it look like the manager is at fault. Fans turn on the manager and the manager is sacked. We appoint a new manager, but nothing above and changes. Because we're seeing this with the media now. There's a lot of leaks coming out, a lot of stories coming out about this player doing that player doing that, certain players not back in Ten Hag. And it's the same stories that come out. The PR story about who we're going to sign. We're going to bring in a director of football. We've got Paul Mitchell coming out at the moment, which actually looks to be happening, though. There's a lot of lies, there's a lot of leaks coming out. And I think Man United are the definition of insanity, because we make the same mistakes over and over with recruitment, sacking managers, player power. Owners make the same mistakes and they expect things to change because we're run that badly. And I think it was very true when they said United are the definition of insanity. But the big question is, will Jim Ratcliffe be able to change this? He's going to bring in Blanc and Mitchell, which is a massive start. The big question mark is going to be around, yes, Sir Jim has full sporting control. Blanc and Mitchell are very, very likely coming in. But what kind of influence are they going to be allowed to make on United? Are they going to be allowed to make the necessary changes that need to be made? Are they going to be allowed to go and buy 3 centre-backs, or even if we just sell Lindelof? Or are we going to have to sell 3 players to sign 3 players? Is it going to be sell to buy? Are we going to be able to influx cash? Are we going to have more money around? Is there going to be FFP excuses? Sir Jim Ratcliffe has slandered Man United's transfer policy in the past, said that they've spent money badly. He even criticised the signing of Casemiro going for older players. I'm assuming the philosophy of Blanc and Mitchell will to stop that mistake of overspending and going for older players and having a much smarter transfer policy, which with the money we actually generate as a club, that should make us more like Liverpool, more like Arsenal in terms of potentially not the best ownership, but you've employed the right strategy, you've spent the money well, and you can compete with Man City. And will Jim Ratcliffe inject cash into the club? They've said that, he's got a lot of money. Ineos is worth 10 times more than United. He's not going to take money out of United. He's going to help build a new stadium. He's going to do this and that to United. Will Jim Ratcliffe be able to put some cash into United? Potentially. The great question mark is, will Ratcliffe be the guy to change the cycle? Apparently, Ratcliffe wants to be known as the guy that changes the cycle. A lot of people at Nice are being very positive, saying, look, Man United will notice have a bit more money to spend in the window. Ratcliffe will employ the right people, and hopefully that is the case. But still, full sale only. I'm still sceptical about Ratcliffe because our owners will be there. Joao and Abraham, as long as they're there at United, I'm always going to be a bit on edge, a bit sceptical. I still think they're going to have a say, but hopefully Ratcliffe makes the changes that need to be made. Now, what is the latest on injuries? Because they said it's up to 9 could be missing. Ericsson's got a knee injury. He's expected back at the end of the month. Anan's got a muscular injury. He could miss the next 2 or 3 games, but United hoping it's not serious. Rasmus Højlund has a muscular injury. He could miss the next 2 or 3 games, but United hoping it's not serious. Amad Diallo is out with a knee injury, and so is Malacia, but they're both training on grass and expected to be back sort of come the next month or so. Johnny Evans got a muscular injury. He's expected back in about a month. Luke Shaw's got a muscular injury. He's expected back in about 3 to 4 weeks. Lissandro Martinez and Casemiro. Martinez is his foot. Casemiro is another muscular injury. They're expected back in January time. Obviously, a lot of muscular injuries going on, and I think that is an indication that maybe the Man United players are slightly overworked in training. Maybe we need to do more tactical work in training. Maybe all the games of last season, the crazy pre-season fixture, this is probably contributing a little bit to those muscular injuries. Contact injuries like Cobbies and Ahmed's, you can't really stop that happening, but muscular injuries, we've been hit more than any other club. I do think there's maybe something wrong with our training routine, our general routine, for us to have so many muscular injuries, which is frustrating. But hopefully we get the players back sooner rather than later. Hopefully Martinez and Shaw, when they're back, they just don't get injured again, because I think it'll be so important. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with Ahmed, Højlund and Onana. Hopefully they'll be fine and back. Hopefully Ahmed will be back soon. But those players coming back from injury for United is likely to be a big boost. Now, continuing on, I saw this come up on Twitter and I thought, you know what, let's include this in a video. It was said by United People's TV this week that Man United held a training camp for former academy players who are looking for a new club, recovering from serious injury or wanting to make a career change, and Roshan Williams, Callum Gribben were among many players present. And I think this is a really good thing for United to do. I think there's a lot of players that go to United and they just don't make it. They get injuries, they get released, they struggle to find clubs. Maybe they want to go into coaching. There's a lot of people that are talented players and they get injuries early on in their career. We've seen that with a lot of top coaches. Eddie Howe went into coaching, McKenna went into coaching. And I think United are just looking to give support to those kind of players, which I think is a big thing that United are doing. Now, as you know, it is the November international break, so I think the news is a little bit dry. So we are talking a little bit more opinion-based and general stuff. But I'm just trying to be as positive as I can about Manchester United at the moment, as positive as I can about the takeover and all things going forward, and just hoping that United can get back on good track. And can't wait till this international break is over. And luckily, there won't be another one till March now. I mean, 3 international breaks, 1 a month is an absolute joke. Anyway, please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Share the video. Thank you for watching. See you next time.